think there's actually two really important challenges facing the world today. One is a hidden challenge, and one is one that's often not heard, although we see it. The first challenge, which is a hidden one, is really the challenge of climate change. It's pervasive, it's CO2, we don't see it every day. It's affecting our climate, but slowly and intermittently. And unfortunately, it's something that's really affecting us. As T.S. Eliot said, this is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper. Climate change is actually that. Climate change is something we don't see. It doesn't make a big noise. It doesn't change our lives every day. However, it's slowly and unfortunately, certainly affecting our lives and will affect the lives of others and those in the developing world. CO2 is something which lasts in the atmosphere about 100 years. So the effects of the excess in CO2 used by our society is a cumulative effect, and it continues to grow every day. One of our challenges I see is that, and the problems of the world. The second one is the one I say which is often unheard, and that is a challenge of the developing world. This unheard voices, they're not there every day with us, unfortunately, but they're really with us, and I think this is something we have to look at to try to go out and deal with the unheard voices, to make them part of our voice. Well, I think this weekend, related to the two challenges, is really how do we make our world sustainable? Our world will really only be sustainable in several areas. Number one, we have to make it sustainable as to climate change. Number two, we have to make it sustainable as to our environment and our resource usage. And number three, we have to make it sustainable so we have an acceptable standard of living for everyone in the world.
Today.
Well, I have no doubt that the external issues, if you like, the external constraints that that my children will face, that you will all face, come from two directions. I mean, I believe that climate change is serious, and that it is only one, the most acute, but only one of the examples of an impact on the planetary ecosystem that the human race at this level and the future levels it will reach is going to have. So we know those problems, and we know the problems that will, other kinds of problems, such as shortage of water, food supplies, which are beginning to be acute in some places now, and so on. But I think the underlying challenge for the next generation is how to get governance structures in place that enable the innate human inventiveness and capacity to solve problems, actually to deal with those problems. I do not believe that any of those technological or environmental problems which surround us as a species are insoluble by our intelligence if we can invent governance structures within which people can release that capacity. So I suppose the sort of question that I would like you lot to answer, and if you can't answer it, nobody can, is how do we find the governance structures to release the innate creativity of our species in time to meet those challenges?
I guess the biggest challenge that I have been focusing on in the last 2 years is the challenge of how we train people for government. That I think after the financial crisis, the whole world has seen that government is really important, and that in the sort of powerful Western democracies, government looks in disarray. People are alienated. Very few brilliant people even want to go into government anymore. So the way we've been thinking about that, my colleagues and I here at Oxford, is to think about how we want to train people in Oxford's new School of Government. What does it actually take to train somebody with the right skills to be really great at doing government in the 21st century?